Oh my God. So I am sitting here with my good friend Tammy Renee Franklin. And this is her first time here at Transitions. And so what we're going to do is jump right in. So Tammy Franklin, how are you today?
I am doing wonderful. Excited to be here with you.
I'm so glad you are here. So how is the family?
Wow, everybody's doing good. Kennedy is getting ready to go off to college, and our youngest baby boy is away at summer camp, and Carrington's grown and living on her own, and yeah.
Well,
Everybody's doing good.
now, Keziah is the last one at home, right?
Yes.
So how has that transition been just in this short period of time with Kennedy going off to school or getting ready to go off to school?
Well, right now we're just transitioning into the thought of her going off. She hasn't gone yet.
Okay.
So the transition prior to that was just we moved.
Oh, yeah.
We moved, and we were in our home for over 16 years, probably going on 17 years. And when we moved, we hadn't found a new home yet. We got an amazing offer on our home, and so it was like, because we haven't found a house yet, do we stay or do we go? And so we decided we would go because the offer was a good offer.
Yeah.
And so we went into a lease home for 10 months. So
Oh, wow.
that was a just transition, and probably a huge transition for our baby boy, who is, he is a creature of habit, and so he wasn't feeling that. But you know what? It was an amazing transition because the house was smaller, and so less rooms meant more time together as a family, which was kind of nice because with Kennedy getting ready to go off to college, we would find ourselves, just like hanging out more in the same place, watching TV and stuff like that. And so now we've been in our new home for maybe not quite 5 months.
Okay.
And so now that transition is beginning. And it's been funny because there have been a couple occasions, Kennedy's driving now, she's working. And so there are times.
And Kennedy's how old now?
Kennedy is, oh my gosh, I was ready to say 17, but she's 18.
Oh,
Kennedy's
Lord.
18. And,
I'm getting younger.
Yes, we are. But she's doing her thing. She's gone with her, whether she's with her friends or a cheer practice or whatever. So it's already at times starting to be me, my husband, and our baby boy Keziah. And sometimes Keziah, he'll look at both of us and he's like, is this how it's gonna be? Kind of like in a funny way. But when he was younger, because he's the baby, he would say, I can't wait until it's just us.
Oh, wow.
And so I think he, of course, is going to miss his sister. And he is a family kid. I mean, even with, our oldest, he's like, why don't you just come back home? Or, he's had a hard time with it. And one day it dawned on me that when the youngest child comes into a family, everybody's already in place. And so, they're the ones I think that deal with the transitions harder because when they get here, everybody's in place. They're the last one, and then everybody starts leaving. And so, I just believe that was kind of a God moment to help me help him.
Right.
And help me be more sensitive because there were times, he would just, he's a sweet kid. I mean, that.
Yeah.
But there were times that he was so frustrated that he would just be just kind of mean, which wasn't his personality. So, rather than just, pop off like we moms can do.
Right.
And, and be like, no, you're not going to say it like that to me. It enabled me to take a step back and look at it from his eyes.
Yeah.
That when he got here, everybody was in place, and now everybody's leaving, and he's the last one. And so, and it even gave me an insight to my baby sister.
Gotcha.
Because she is forever trying to get all of us to move into the same house. Still to this day. She's in her 30s, married,
oh my goodness,
with children, and she's like, why don't we all just put our money together and build a big old mansion? And I'm like, are you still talking about that? But now I get it. Now I get it.
I love that. That is so good. So I don't know if everybody knows this, but Tammy is married to Kirk Franklin.
Kirk Hyper Franklin.
Uh-huh. And speaking of the word hyper, I would like to know, how have you endured this marriage with Kirk Franklin?
Ooh. Well, I knew what I was signing up for.
Yeah.
So there are certain facets of whether it's his personality or of the ministry. I knew what I was getting into. And I had really, I would say, my parents, especially my mom, during that process of courting, if there was something that was frustrating for me or whatever, she'd say, okay, is this a deal breaker? And, we were married almost 20 years, so obviously there has not been any deal breakers. But, Kirk is hyper, and we married at 25. He was more hyper. I had been a single mom, so I knew what it was like to day-to-day parenting.
Yeah.
He was a single dad, but of course, our son, I still refer to him as our son, even though he's biologically Kirk's son. Our son lived primarily with his mom.
Right.
And he would come and visit. So he didn't know, what it was like to be a full-time parent. So that was a transition in itself of he went from, having this nice bachelor pad that was always,
immaculate.
Clean. Yes. To, he didn't like toys being seen. Our kids had this wooden swing set, the swing set everybody, has all the cute little colors and stuff. Well, when we had it put in the house, when you could see it, like from as soon as you walked in, he had the people come back and scoot it. And it just took a little time.
Yeah.
He was, oh my gosh, and he still is very spontaneous. He had no concept of a schedule, or that kids needed stability and consistency. And so he would pick the kids up from school at 3 and would keep them out until like 9 playing, like going go-kart riding. And he would sugar them up.
Oh my God.
And then he'd bring them to me at 9:30, 10. No homework's been done. So that was a huge transition of, us, the blending of our family, just by the grace of God, was pretty seamless.
Yes.
It was just the transitioning into, okay, I know that you are a musician and you go to bed, you're a vampire basically. But our kids can't be little walking vampires. And so, that was a transition. We are, 45 and fabulous.
Yes, you are.
But we're, so we've gone even through a transition of, I'm not the same person. He's not the same person that he was at 25, now at 45. And that's normal. And I think a lot of times in relationships, people end up getting scared because they are different people, and that's okay. But the goal is to grow and change together.
Right.
And so, we have been able to do that, not seamlessly, but we talk things through. And one of the things that I have learned in marriage is that everything is renegotiable.
Yeah.
One thing that, we may have done at 25 may be totally different now at 45.
That's good.
As a woman, I know more of who I am and what I like, what I don't like.
Right.
And, I'm able now to probably voice that more confidently.
Right.
But still sweetly and, respectfully. So, yeah, I don't even think about the transitions until we're sitting here talking about it. But we've been through, quite a bit.
And with you saying that, one thing you said was, I was a single mom. Tell me a little bit about that experience from single parenting and then bringing her into a new world of Kirk Franklin.
Well, Carrington, the male figure in her life consistently was my dad.
Yeah.
Well, granddaddies are going to discipline totally different than a dad. So, grandparents are going to let you get away with more.
Right.
It's, instead of a spanking, it may be a little tap, and then they give you some ice cream, So, the transition for her, and, which meant us, Kirk and I too, was allowing her that transition to now having a full-time father in the
Yeah,
house. And,
yeah.
Kirk legally adopted Carrington when she was 5. So he was in every essence her daddy, and is in every essence her dad. But it took a little time because, she was used to the way I parented, which I learned a lot of times because it was just me. I would parent a lot out of guilt. And so my no's really meant maybe. She didn't really hear no very much at all. She wasn't even used to it.
Wow.
And I remember at one time sitting down with her, Kirk and I, and just saying, okay, we need to make a change because, my kids would get, gifts from the singers, gifts from my family. So, for Christmas, it would be nothing for them to get like 20, 25 gifts.
Wow.
And some gifts we would find months down the line that had not been opened because we, had put them somewhere. And so we had to sit down with them and say, okay, we're making a change. And we made several changes. And I remember one particular time implementing that change. And Carrington had not done what she was supposed to do. And so we told her that she couldn't go to this party. And it was her best friend's party. And so, I went upstairs and girl, she's getting ready. And I said, you're not going. And she started crying and she was like, livid.
Oh, goodness.
And the key word she said to me that rang true to me, that I knew this was a good transition, is she said, I am not used to you doing what you say you're going to do when it comes to saying no to me.
Oh, wow.
She said, I'm used to you doing what you say you're going to do when it's, when it's taking care of me, when it's something I want, but I'm not used to you doing what you say you're going to do when it's a no. And it was like, wow, that's not good. Because it said to me, she was potentially going to grow up as an adult that didn't have boundaries when it came to no. That she thought everything was, going to be exactly how she needed. So, in that moment, although it was hard to see her cry, and girl, she was all on the floor. And,
That's so funny.
It said to me, okay, I'm on the right track because, and that was eye-opening. Really, really eye-opening. So that was, that was a huge transition. And then, just transitioning into her getting used to, this daddy figure every day. And then Kirk had to transition into disciplining a girl.
Wow.
Because you don't discipline a girl exactly the same way you would discipline a boy.
Right.
And so, that took him a little minute. And then to discipline her took him a minute because, she was his little princess. And because he wasn't her biological father, although he adopted her, he was so afraid that she wouldn't like him. So he would give her anything she wanted.
Wow.
So, that took a little minute, but she's 26 now and is an amazing young lady.
Wow, that is such a beautiful testament, though, just to hear how the relationship has emerged through those processes. And that it's been how many years?
January will be 20.
Oh my God. That's
crazy,
that
right?
just blows my mind.
Gold dresses. Bridesmaid dress.
Yes.
It was cute then.
But it was a beautiful experience just to see you happy and excited. And one thing I want to ask you about, prior to getting married and being a single mom, before your husband came along, what was your thoughts then prior to that? Like before you ever met him, what were your concerns and fears raising a daughter by yourself?
I had, T-Sha, such a good support system that my parents and even my daughter's biological father's mother, before she passed, were such a huge support system for me.
Yeah.
But like you said, as a young single woman, there's a concern, of course, that you're not going to meet someone that's going to love you and your daughter because you are your package.
Right.
The concern about being able to provide for her. I was young. I mean, I was 19 and then 20, 19 when I got pregnant and 20 by the time I had her. And, just the fear of, am I equipped, to raise this, amazing gift.
Yeah.
And, because no matter how they come into the world, they're still gifts.
That's right.
And it was just, overwhelming fear of, okay, I'm the vessel God's using to someday, help this young lady to be this amazing adult.
Yeah.
And I just thank God that I took it so seriously. I mean, I've seen girls who, because they're young and they're mature, they are like, oh no, I'm going to still turn up. I'm still going to be out there. But I took parenting really, really seriously. And I was just given the most amazing compliment by our dear friend, Kathy Moffitt. And she said to me here recently, she said, I have never seen someone so young be so selfless when it comes to being a wife and a mom. And she was like, I just think that you were born like to do this. She was like, most people, your age, especially with the platform with your husband, they would be trying to do this and do this. And she was like, I've just watched you in amazement. And I didn't realize, it was, I think, the first time that I heard someone verbalize that my thought process was a gift. I just thought I was doing what
you're supposed to do.
Doing what I was supposed to do and what my heart really desired to do.
Right.
And in that, I'm just, I'm thankful of my mindset, because that's how kids get lost through the cracks and things like that. And,
yes, it is.
Because they don't have someone willing to step up and be a parent. But other than that, I would say it was my own insecurities that was a transition for me. But because I had such a good support system, it was not easy by any means, but it made it easier.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yes, it does. And with that, what were some of the biggest challenges that you remember where you had to say, okay, I'm going to give that up?
It wasn't necessarily a challenge. It took discipline.
Okay.
From the standpoint of not allowing anyone that I was seeing to meet her. Someone told me early on, and it may have been my mom, probably my mom, that Carrington should not feel like she has a whole lot of uncles, meaning all these different men. And so I took that to heart and was committed that no one would meet my daughter unless we were serious.
Right.
And Carrington has met, my husband, of course. Prior to that, maybe 2 other people. And one I was engaged to, and then another guy I was, seeing, I thought, at the time, pretty seriously. But so it wasn't hard, it just took discipline.
Right.
I was committed, to that. And sometimes, it's not the most convenient. I mean, it's like, okay, well, yes, you could pick me up at this time, but hold on, I've got to change that time because I need to make sure my daughter's gone or whatever. And they may say, oh, well, I could just meet her. And I'm like, well, no, you can't. So that, it was challenging in a way, but not in a way like where, if anything, it just took commitment and discipline on my part that nobody would get the chance to meet her.
Wow. So talk about growing up with how many siblings do you have?
I'm the oldest of 7.
Oh, what was that like?
Yes. Oh, God. Woo. The Brady Bunch. People refer to us as the Cosbys, just because my mom and dad, now that I'm older, I think it's a compliment. And I kind of knew it was then, but, my parents were very big on education, very big on family time.
Right.
When my mom married my dad, she had 3 daughters, including myself, and then my dad had 3 children, and they had our youngest diva sister, Celeste, together. And gosh, I think I was maybe 9 or 10 when they got married. And the first thing is, I was just used to it being me, my 2 sisters, and my mom.
Right.
I was the oldest, and so I had decided that I was not going to like him. And I committed to, I would call him Mr. Bill. I was not going to call him Daddy. And I remember my sister Devidra like breaking down and calling him Daddy, and I was like, no, you didn't. What about that? And she was like, but I like him, Tammy. I love him. And I knew that I did too, but it was like, we gotta know. You will not be Daddy. And but I mean, it was just amazing. We all loved each other very much. I mean, it was a transition of because their mother was still a very big part of their life, so they would go away
and spend time with her.
And spend time with her, and that would be hard. Just because I love them like they were my siblings, and because they were
right.
And just getting used to my biological father and my mother were married when I was younger, but they were divorced by the time I was 3.
Okay.
So I remember certain things, but I don't remember like that that mother, father, that family unit. So for me, at the age of 9 or 10, I was kind of getting that to me for the first time, and I was getting it in a healthy way. But I mean, to this day, it's like I don't refer to them as step. They're my sisters.
Right.
And it's 6 girls and 1 boy.
Right.
And we had fun, man. We would put on talent shows, and because I was the oldest and the smallest. I was bossy. When my parents went on a date or something, I'd be like, Mom and Daddy said we had to clean this, and they like, but you sitting on the couch. You ain't helping with the cleaning. So I'm like, you need to do this, and you need to do that. And it's paid off because, I've been told that when it's time to like
get something
organized, they're like, Tammy is gonna do it. And people tell me that all the time. Oh my gosh, you turned into a whole nother person.
We've seen that.
So it started young.
I think it's wonderful, though. I think just having that natural ability to run things is a good attribute to have.
That's a really nice way to put it. I've also been told I'm bossy.
Well, I think it's a blessing. And so tell me some of the things that, when you think about Tammy Franklin, what are some things you care about?
Oh, gosh. I care about, it's amazing to me, quite naturally, the things that you care about are typically end up being the things that you go through. I care about single moms and equipping them to understand the great ability that they have within themselves and the great responsibility to nurture those kids. And I think a lot of times people don't realize it starts even earlier than them becoming a mother. It starts, at the adolescent age of truly understanding, the responsibility of bringing another life into the world. And therefore, if you're not ready, don't do what it takes to have one.
Right.
Right. I care deeply about marriage and just the what God intended for us to have.
Right.
Quite oftentimes I run into people who are married but they're not happy. They're just going through the motions, and I just don't believe that's the way God intended for it to be.
Right.
And I thank God for the knowledge of knowing that Kirk and I, we work hard at being married. We work hard at staying friends.
Yeah.
And because I learned early on from my mom and my dad and some other just, married mentors that we've had is that the kids are going to go away, and, then you're just there with each other. And that's why so many people you hear get divorced after years of being married, and it's because they never took the time to be friends,
Right.
and get to know each other. And I'm very, very passionate about that.
That's good. And lastly, I just want you to tell us, what do you want people to know about you personally?
Well, gosh, that I first and foremost love the Lord.
Yeah.
And I am in a place now, and have been, for some time. I mean, there are days where I'm really good at it, and some days I'm not. But
Right.
not only do I love Him, I'm surrendered to Him. And
That's good.
that He is the complete will that I want to be in. I'm silly, and most people don't realize that. But I'm also observant. And when I was younger, that could come across as aloof, or some people called me stuck up, and it wasn't true. But I just like to watch people. And I like to think I'm kind. I don't care who you are. And a lot of times I like to find that one person that nobody has zeroed in yet.
Right.
And I just go to them and just say, hey, you look so pretty, or because I think, especially women,
Right.
we're so hard on each other,
Right.
and on ourselves. And so a lot of times I like to zone in on that person.
Wow. Well, we have had an exciting and a superific time with Tammy Franklin.
Superific.
We're so grateful that you all have tuned in to watch Transitions, and join us next time.